Welcome back to episode 2 of our podcast. We have a big announcement. We finally have a name for it. I'm Charlie Butler, and this is my host, Charlie Mathis. So welcome to the Curves, Chalk, and Chucks podcast. We're excited to have y'all, and we're just going to jump right into it.
Yeah. Everyone, thanks for being here. Big thanks to the Sandman for giving us a platform. We're excited to talk about some baseball. Hot stove, still cranking, a little slower, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everyone. But a little slower around Christmas time. But we do have some juicy signings we can talk about.
We got a little bit to
Do
talk
we
about.
do we hit the elephant in the room first? I guess we go Ryan O'Hearn is what I'm thinking.
Mm, Yep.
My first thought with the signing is good for the Pirates. I was talking to my brother um about this a bit earlier, and he was saying, like the Pirates, because the rumors that they were in on Pete Alonso, I guess, is what it was. And it kind of felt like it was, hey, Pirates fans, we tried to sign a big contract. Oh, we really tried. And it's like, but did you really? Like, I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if Pirates fans believe it. Good for them, but I will say, my first reaction to this before I go into it is this the signing that a Pirates fan was looking for? I don't think it is. I don't think it's the big money that Pirates fans
No,
were looking for them to spend.
not at all. I almost kind of look at this as a way to appease Paul Skeens. You got this Cy Young
Mhm.
pitcher now. He's been a dog every year that he's been in the league. You know what he's capable of. And I think that it's kind of like showing like, hey, look, we're gonna go out and sign this all-star. But it is Ryan O'Hearn. It's not like you're going and getting this big, like huge free agent signing. He was good last year. I'm not gonna discount what he did, but it's not to the level of what a Pete Alonso could have done, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, and it's not like this is a guy who's been a guy his whole career. He kinda broke out in his 29-year-old season, with the
Mhm.
Orioles. He put up 1.2 WAR and then traded midseason last year with a 2.4 WAR season. That's a respectable player.
It's good.
Is it franchise changing? By no means. It's 2 tiers below what I would consider franchise changing.
Yeah.
Um, with that being said, though, good signing for the Pirates. I think that's good bang for your buck. It's $14.5 million
Oh, for sure.
for 2 years. I don't think you can really get bit too bad by that contract, necessarily, and so I like the signing for them. Um, I like him in PNC Park. Is if I'm correct, is it a bit of a short porch?
I think it's nothing too crazy. We're not looking at a Yankee Stadium or
It's
anything, but
yeah. It's a pitcher's park, but not by much. Yeah, I don't know. I just
yeah,
still like him in Pittsburgh. I feel like
yeah.
they're kind
For
of
sure.
missing, an anchor bat in their lineup. And I think
Mhm.
he can be that.
Yeah, they needed somebody like I don't know. I feel like throughout the 2010s, you had McCutcheon on the Pirates, and that was the whole thing propping them up. And now it looks like you got
Mhm.
Skeens, and I don't think they really ever had too much help. So I'm hoping that this might change them, but I don't think that this is enough to say that they're really going to change their standings in the NL Central. I think that they're still going to be the bottom there, along with the Cardinals, of course. But
Yeah.
the Cubs and the Brewers are going to continue to run that division for a while, especially after this signing. I just don't think that it's anything that's going to change the outlook of the season.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the NL Central. I say next we go to the Reds. They've been
Mhm.
making, a bit of moves. They added 2 outfielders,
Yeah.
Dane Myers and JJ Bleday, former first round pick, 4th overall, JJ Bleday. And I was looking at his stats earlier. I've got him pulled up here. He put up 2.1 WAR last year as a center fielder. I guess he's pretty serviceable in the field. But then this year he had a down year. You would have thought he would have commanded significantly more money if he did well this year. Um, but it's just a 1-year deal. I'm a big fan of the mantra, there's no bad 1-year contract. I'm sure that's what the Reds are looking at here. I honestly love the signing for them because it's like, what can go wrong? It's $1.5 million, you know?
Yeah. Just get
And
it
and
out
I
there,
think
see what he
like
can do.
and he's still young. He's 27. I mean, we just looked at Ryan O'Hearn, who didn't figure out until his 29 year season. So I think he's got plenty of
Exactly.
time. I really like it for the Reds.
Yeah,
And
no, I'm a
then
big fan of it. I'm a JJ Leday fan. I think that he can really help out that Reds roster. Of course, last year was a down year, but who knows? Maybe he can get back to where he had that 120 OPS plus and really contribute to that team, especially a team like the Reds that made the postseason last year. It's kind of hard to, or it's easy to forget that they were a postseason team last year. I mean, they ran into the Dodgers, so they were pretty quick exits. But if they can continue to build on that core, then who knows what they could do this year.
Yeah, and I like some of the moves they've been making. Of course, this happened a week or two ago, but re-signing Emilio Pagan, who's an older guy, but they trusted him with the ball in the ninth inning last year. He was their closer. I believe he had 30 or so saves. I think re-signing him is pretty big. They traded for Dane Myers, a young outfielder from the Marlins. I find, whatever. He's just a guy. He's not really turned into anyone
Yeah.
yet, but I think the potential's there, which is interesting. I think it's interesting that the Marlins would trade that
Yeah,
young of a guy.
he will be. He's 30 next season. Dane Myers will be. I think that he is pretty interesting. I mean, it's not like he's proven himself at the big league level. I think he does have the ability to be a good player. I remember when he was with Miami last year, people were talking about the potential he had, and it is there. He does have the potential to be an impact player, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm really looking at him to really break out. I'm not seeing the signs necessarily. Like he's not on my radar to be like the next big like breakout star this season. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong and he'll go rake for the Reds. Him and JJ Bleday will be animals out there, but the way it's looking, I don't really see him being too much of an impact on that Reds roster.
Yeah, and I think, you're trying to replace Austin Hayes is I think what you're going for there. All-star in 2023 with the Orioles, I believe, and he's headed out. And the early reports for Hayes are that the Yankees and the Mets are both interested in him. The Yankees have made it clear that their top priority is re-signing Cody Bellinger, which I can see 100%. But the reports are also that, if he goes somewhere else, then Hayes will be a target for them as sort of a secondary option,
Mm.
which I can see for sure. I think Hayes is a little old, and if I was a Yankees fan and I'm expecting Cody Bellinger and I got Austin Hayes, that's a big disappointment. But it's better than nothing, honestly.
Yeah.
Is it better than Jason Dominguez? No, not in my opinion.
No. Yeah. At that point, I think it's just time. You gotta really put it all on Jason Dominguez to kind of make up for the production that would be lost with Cody Bellinger. Austin Hayes going to the Yankees would be interesting. Again, I think this is a guy that could benefit from that short porch, and we know he's a good fielder. That's something that he's always reliable for. But I think that it would be a big disappointment for Yankees fans if they don't get Cody Bellinger and they go and get Austin Hayes, which, I mean, it sucks for them. They're kind of in a tough position because it's either you pay Cody Bellinger a big bag or you pay Austin Hayes. Like he's not going to get that big of a contract. I don't think he's getting older, but yeah, you're gonna pay him almost not enough, and he'll be serviceable out in the outfield. And you know how Yankees fans react to stuff. They're gonna be all on this guy. There's gonna be a lot of pressure on him. So who knows if he's really even gonna perform. So I really hope the Yankees go out and get Cody Bellinger again. We know he can perform there. He's been that guy for them for all of last season. So I hope they get him again. I like Bellinger in the pinstripes.
Yeah, and honestly, if I'm, I'm not in the Yankees front office. I ought to be, arguably. But if I'm the Yankees, I know you really want to sign Bellinger and your fan base really wants you to re-sign Bellinger. I think he's inconsistent. And I could be convinced out of thinking that, but I'm a little scared to give a guy who's as inconsistent as he is a big contract. I know they think he's figured it out in New York, and if he does, that's great. But if I'm the Yankees and I've got money to spend, sign Cody Bellinger, that's great. If I were the Yankees, though, I'd want to go for a guy like Framber Valdez. You've mentioned it's a short porch. I like a guy who pitches to weak contact. You know, you got these guys who are throwing the ball 90, 100 miles per hour. If you put solid contact on that, it's going out of the park, especially in Yankee Stadium. So if I'm the Yankees, I might look to get a guy like Framber Valdez, or Ranger Suarez is also a guy like that. Like I said, I think they've got money to spend. I'm also just kind of a pitching oriented guy. I think hitting's easier to get. That's how I look at it. But there are also reports, I still think there's a lot of good pitchers left. So I think you can wait on that.
I mean, I think that it's possible the Yankees could go out and get both. They have the money. You know
Mhm.
that they're willing to spend. They need to win, I think. It's been too long for the like by the Yankee standards, it's been way too long since they've won a World Series, and I think that they're ready to really make that push. You have the best hitter in baseball in Aaron Judge. You have a solid core of young guys. I think that what they really need is pitching, but they also need Bellinger. Honestly, I think that he fits in so well there. I mean, you look at his stats, and the dude was just raking. I mean, he had a 5 WAR. Um, he had a 125 OPS plus. I really like the numbers he was putting up there. I think that they could go out, get Bellinger, sign him for as much money as he wants, and then also go out and get a pitcher. I don't think that maybe not at the level Framber Valdez's or Suarez, but I think that they could get a pitcher that's good.
Yeah, yeah, and I can see that. I want to go next to Tyler Soderstrom. He signed a big 7-year
Yeah,
extension with an 8th-year option. So I read
biggest in
something
A's
on
history.
MLB.com. Yeah, biggest contract in A's history, which is great for them. They're starting to spend big, which makes sense with the move to Las Vegas. It's unfortunate it couldn't happen in Oakland, but I think we all saw this coming. He started
Yeah.
as the A's starting first baseman. And then when Nick Kurtz came up in late April, he moved to left field where he posted +5 outs above average and was a Gold
Yeah.
Glove finalist. I think
Hmm.
like I think the A's like a yes man. I think they like a guy who's saying, fine, I don't have to play first. I can play left field. He started out as a catcher in their
Yeah.
organization, if I'm not mistaken. So I really like a yes man. I imagine the A's do. I think that's why he commands a big contract. But I'll also say hitting like 30 home runs doesn't hurt either. Uh,
No,
if
I mean he led
if
the league
all
in
else
home
is
runs for the
equal.
first M yeah, this
Yeah.
guy, I almost look at him like Nick Kurtz Jr. Like, he's gonna put up home runs. He led the league for, like, the first month. He was raking, and then he moves to the outfield and then becomes a defensive wizard, which really can't hate that. Dude's gonna move anywhere and put up good numbers. I think that he's a guy that the A's wanna have, a guy that the A's are gonna build around. I mean, that team, like, looking at it more, it's honestly unreal. Like, you got Jacob Wilson, Nick Kurtz, you got Tyler Soderstrom now, and you got him locked up for a while. You got Mason Miller, you got Dave Reese coming up. He's the number 3 prospect in all of baseball. And it's just like you look at
Mhm.
that team, and it sucks that they couldn't have done that in Oakland as such a staple for that area. It reminds me of whenever the Rams were moving out of St. Louis. Suck for so long, and then they go and move to LA and get to the Super Bowl. And it's just I think we could see that from the A's, and that's going to be a big part of Soderstrom's contract. He's going to turn around that team, turn them into what they need to be.
Yeah, I mean, you look up and down that lineup, it is pretty strong. I mean, the big 3, you got Brent Rooker, you've got Tyler Soderstrom now until the end of time, I guess. You got Nick Kurtz, and then you got Jacob Wilson who you've seen, hit for a 300 average. Like, I love that. I love that
Mhm.
infield. I think Shea Langeliers isn't a bad catcher. I think that's a good core of guys, and I think the gaps are pretty easy to fill in. I think you've
Mhm.
got the pieces. You could use a pitcher. They're not where they want to be yet, but they may be one of the most promising teams in baseball right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Lawrence Butler too. Another
Oh
big
yeah.
one. And then the one underrated thing, we talked about this last week, but Jeff McNeil. I mean, you go through their depth
Uh-huh.
chart and it's just young guy, young guy, young guy, young guy, young guy, just all young. And then you got Jeff McNeil, who is one of the oldest players on the roster, if not the oldest by far. And I think he's going to bring that experience to the team, something that they really need. He's been on teams that win. He's been on teams that lose. He knows what it's like to be here in this position. And I think he's going to really get that core infield together. The only thing that kind of sucks for the A's is their rotation. I mean, you got Luis Severino, who has not been Yankees Severino by far.
Mhm.
Other than that, it's like you're not really working with much. I think they really need to go out and get a pitcher this offseason if they can. There's still Zach Gallen on the table. We've talked about Valdez. We've talked about Suarez. There's options available, and they need to go get one if they want to really compete next year.
I agree. Yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head. I think a starting pitcher is what's stopping me from actually believing in the Athletics this year, and that sounds weird to say, because for the past few years, they've just been helpless. I mean, genuinely helpless, and I'm starting to see the light. I think in a year or two, starting pitcher signing this year, I I think he could do a lot of stuff. I like DeVries in the minor league system. I wanna go now to I feel like there's a lot of trades that could be heating up, a lot of potential trades. We
Sure.
talked Donovan last episode, White
Yeah.
Sox shopping Luis Robert. The Diamondbacks are hearing offers for Ketel Marte. I think there's a lot of exciting stuff being done in the trade market.
The one that I'm kind of
So
iffy on, Luis Robert. I mean, we've been hearing that he's going to get traded for the past like 3 seasons. Do we really think it's
yeah,
going to happen now? His value has just continued to like decline ever since that first trade rumor hit forever ago. It's not even like he was really bad last year. It's just like he kind of forgot how to hit the last 2 seasons, which sucks to see because he's an exciting player when he's on. I mean, you can't forget his 2023 campaign where he raked. He had a 5 WAR. He put up 38 bombs, but it feels like he like fell off a cliff. It's like what value can you really get for him at this point? It's been 2 seasons in a row where he hasn't hit how he should. They could get a decent haul, but I think the time has really passed where they can get a big haul like they could have in previous years.
yeah, I agree. I think that teams don't look at him the same as the White Sox look at him.
Hmm.
I think people probably in Chicago have rose-colored glasses for that 2023 season, where
Yeah,
he put up 5.3 WAR, 38 home runs, and it's like he hasn't hit 20 home runs since. So the
yeah,
power's not been there. From time to time, the contact has been there, but he hasn't put up over a 230 batting average since that season. And so it's like, can he really replicate that? I will say the
yeah.
defense is still there. And so the defense, I think, is where he has the most value
Hmm.
as of yet. But I think he could be traded if the White Sox saw him the same as every other team does. But I think the reason a deal hasn't been done because the White Sox have been horrible. I mean, why not trade him? There's
Yeah,
no other reason that the White Sox haven't traded him except that they just can't come to an agreement. I bet
you gotta shake
teams
up
just
something.
aren't giving him what they want. And I think he kind of relates to Ketel Marte in that aspect. Um, I get that the Diamondbacks want to cash out, because Ketel, I've got the numbers pulled up here. He hasn't put together a sub 4 WAR season since 2022, and he
Yeah,
hasn't put together a negative WAR season in his entire career, and he's 31. So he's consistent. He hits well. Like I'm a big Ketel Marte fan. I think he used to fly under the radar, and now he's getting his flowers.
yeah,
But I think they're gonna need a haul to move him. I think they're gonna need
yeah.
a big haul.
We touched on it last week. There it's hard to like tell like who has the capital to like really get this guy. I can't even really think about like what a trade for this guy would look like. Like you're gonna need a haul. And if I'm the Diamondbacks, like I'm not taking it unless I get some top prospects.
Mm,
You're trading this guy who's been so consistently good. I mean, he's a switch hitting second baseman, shortstop, center field. Like he can play anywhere. Dude hits. He can
yeah.
hit for power. He's got gap to gap stuff. He's gonna put one in the gap, hustle out a double, especially in Arizona too. You got that huge outfield. Like it's honestly insane. And I mean, we saw it in his 2018 season. He had 12 triples. He's just been so consistently good that it's just like how do you value this? Like what do you consider this like to be worth? Because it's like who really is going to be able to trade for this? Who needs this bad that they're going to give up all of their minor league to get this?
Yeah, and I hope, as a baseball fan, I hope just for the sake of baseball that the D-backs, hold out for a great deal for him. You look at, I don't know who has the pieces to move him. I want to touch on the Red Sox because the Red Sox have been pinned for basically every available infielder, whether that be on the trade market or free agents. They've been connected to Alex Bregman, Bo Bichette, Ketel Marte, Brian Donovan, Eugenio Suarez. and Okamoto. So it's like they clearly still, you went and got Wilson Contreras and they're looking for more. I think they're a team that's just not done yet. I think they have two two big moves left. I don't think hopefully I don't think they're gonna have enough or offer enough to get Ketel Marte.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna get Brandon Donovan. I mean, that's just my prediction for them.
really.
I think Chaim Bloom likes working with his guys,
Yeah,
because he was just with the Red Sox, and I think those are guys he knows. I think they understand each other. They probably understand what he wants for Donovan. That's the way I see it. I mean, on one hand, you could say they've the Red Sox and the Cardinals have made so many moves together this offseason. On the other hand, you could say, why not keep going? They've
yeah.
talked this much. Who says they haven't talked about that?
I personally think that Donovan is gonna be a Mariner. I know he's been linked there.
Uh,
I know the Mariners really wanna win. They made it pretty far last postseason. They really wanna keep that up, and Donovan is that guy. He's such, like, an under the radar star. Like, this guy,
mhm.
he's really legit, and I don't know if that's biased because 'cause I'm a Cardinal fan or because I've seen him play so much, but he really can contribute anywhere. Going to the Red Sox, though, is interesting. I would be interested in seeing, like, what that would look like. I think the Mariners, I think Brian Wu is, like, a guy that the Cardinals really could get out of Brendan Donovan, honestly. I don't know how likely that is, but with the Red Sox, maybe they have a little bit more to give. They're decently, like, they have a good depth, they have some guys that they could give up. But it's just kinda like, who at this point? They're not gonna give up Roman Anthony for Brendan Donovan, I don't think. I don't like
Yeah. Well,
Aaron
since
Duran, like, it's not gonna be anything like that. I'd like to see that, but who knows at this point. Chaim Bloom loves working with the Red Sox. I also really like that for the Cardinals. Chaim Bloom, he worked with the Red Sox. I think that he's getting guys that he scouted and really likes. I mean, you're looking at Richard Fitz and all the other guys that we've gotten, it's all good prospects. I really think that he's kinda turning this into the St. Louis Red Sox. He's gonna go out and get all the guys that he scouted and really liked, and he's gonna turn around the Cardinals. I'm actually hopeful now, which is the first time I can say that in 5 years, thank God. I think we're almost there. I mean, the rebuild's bound, but taking all the right steps.
yeah, I'm very optimistic as well. I think Brendan Donovan, I feel like I don't know how to say what I'm thinking. I feel like he's not right for St. Louis. And as someone who grew up and still lives in St. Louis, that pains me to say. But I think he's just like I feel like he'd do good at Texas, you know? He's an exciting white man. He's got long hair, he's got some salad, he's got a good beard going. Like I feel like he ought to be a Yankee, or I feel like he ought to go to Seattle,
Does
man.
he
I
have
don't
that
know, and, like,
sauce though?
it
Like, do you think he's that like, he's got that sauce? I personally look at him like he's kinda like the quiet guy, like, he's gonna go out there and do his job, like, I'm not looking at I don't think we're looking at this guy the same way, you know? Like
maybe that's where we differ, I don't know. I
yeah,
see Brendan Donovan as Dallas's next superstar, I don't know. I
I
feel like
think he's like the
I feel
most
like he's
cardinal
St. Louis is
way
holding it back.
yeah, I think he's the most, like, cardinal way, like, dude ever, like, put your head down, hustle, go leg out a double, triple, go hit for average, don't worry about the power. But, maybe he's quietly hiding something that I'm not seeing that he's gonna go out and he's gonna
Maybe.
turn into the next, like, I don't know, like Yasiel Puig or like Niger Morgan and just like become a
Yasiel
who
Puig.
knows? I'd love to see it. That'd be tough, but I don't know. I think we're looking at this two different ways.
Well, the other question is the Cardinal way the same, Is the Chaim Bloom Cardinal way the same as the John Mozeliak Cardinal way?
Not at
Maybe
all.
it's changed, and I'm an old-fashioned guy, but I don't know, like, is Victor Scott our kinda guy, or is, Sonny Gray our kinda guy?
Yeah, yeah, it's weird. I'm hoping that Hein Bloom's gonna turn us into the Victor Scott's the future kinda thing instead of, "Let's go get a 37-year-old who was an all-star in 2014 and did something," you know? Like, I mean, we're going out and getting young guys now, thank God. It's
Mhm.
insane to watch, like, it's almost unreal. Like, we're finally getting some prospects and not signing John Lester at the end of his career.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was the signing, bro, that was it. But
So so I wanna go to 2 international signings here, one of which we didn't talk about at the time because we were talking about Munetaka Murakami, but the first one is Anthony Kay
mhm.
to the White Sox. He went and pitched in, Korea, I believe.
Yeah.
Let me pull him up, and he signed 2 years, 12 million with the White Sox.
Yeah.
He put up like a 2 WAR s or sorry, not 2 WAR, 2 ERA, pitching like 160 innings, I think in Japan or in Korea.
Yeah, it's kinda weird to look at Anthony Kay and see 2-year, 12 million. Like, from, like, looking at his baseball reference from when he was in the MLB, it's like, you could see this guy going out and getting a minor league deal, but his stuff in Japan was pretty legit. I mean, he had really good numbers. He had a 1.74 ERA and a 1.54 in his last 2 years there. I
Yeah,
like it for
man.
the White Sox. I just hope it can transfer. I mean, we know the Japanese league is pretty legit. You know, you're looking at some good talent there, but a lot of times some guys do have some issues transferring it up back over to the MLB, and I hope he does. You know, I really want to see him succeed. I think that this is like a really under the radar. I think that's kind of the quote of the day. You know, there's a lot of under the radar stuff happening right now, and this is a under the radar signing. Nobody's gonna really look at it and bat an eye, but in the middle of the season when he's being a good serviceable pitcher, people are gonna realize what they really got there. So I'm excited for him. Good for him. Good for the White Sox. I mean, you're the White Sox. You got to do something. You know, go sign some random guy. Find some guys out of Japan. You know, go do whatever you can to try to get back to where you should be.
Yeah, good for them is what I wanna say. He kind of strikes me as a Cody Ponce-esque guy. You know, Blue Jays signed Cody Ponce, obviously, it was a bigger deal, it was 10 million a year for 3 years, but he's one of those guys who was in the MLB, went to Japan, figured it out, and maybe brings that skill to the MLB. I think, you know, for him and Anthony Kay, we figure that out, but we've seen these NPB guys do really well in the MLB, especially pitchers. Hitters don't transfer quite as well, but the pitchers there still, you know, people say they transfer well. Tetsuya Imai, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I believe I am, is probably the best pitcher still on the market. He's set to land a big deal, and I personally have him going to the Orioles. I think the Orioles are
Yeah.
due to sign a big starter, and frankly, I think it's him.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm seeing a lot of Cubs. Cubs could get him.
Yeah.
You know that they will. They got Shota Imagana. I mean, who's to say that they're not going to go out and go get this guy? We know he's got the stuff to succeed, and I think the Cubs are still kind of like off their Shota win. You know, you got that guy who's been an animal for them. They're gonna go out and I think they're gonna get him. I like that as a landing spot for him. I like it sucks. I like the Cubs a little bit. You know, I think that they're gonna be a good team. They proved it last year. And a signing like that, I think they need help in their pitching, and he's gonna go out and do that.
Yeah, I think the Cubs are another big landing spot for him. We know, a lot of these Japanese guys like going where other Japanese guys have gone. You know, we saw, Roki Sasaki and Yoshinobu Yamamoto both go to the Dodgers. Let's see, yeah, it's Roki Sasaki in Chicago. There's also rumors that both Kazuma Okamoto and Imai could both go to the Cubs,
Mhm.
which, like I said, I could see, you know, they like to make, like, a Japanese culture
Yeah.
in these specific teams, which I think is just awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. Who's the other they've got another Japanese guy, how am I forgetting
Yeah.
his name?
Who is it? They got Shota. They got
DH, who's hilarious.
oh my god, bro. Seiya Suzuki.
Seiya Suzuki.
Yeah.
I was watching an interview with him and Pete Crow Armstrong, who, isn't necessarily my favorite player ever, but I have to admit he's a funny guy. He's talking to, Seiya Suzuki with his translator and said something like, "Oh, you wanna babysit for me, Pete?" And Pete goes, "Yeah, well, I'm still on the minimum contract, so, you know, I need the extra money."
Yeah, you kinda, like, can't
That's
hate this Cubs roster. They're all, like, fun,
no.
which sucks because it's like PCA, like, that's a dude that, like, if you don't have him on your team, you're gonna hate him, but if he's on your team, like, you're gonna love this guy,
Yeah.
and, like, Cubs fans love that dude. It's a fun roster. Like, it's actually, like, entertaining to watch, and that it takes a lot out of my heart, like, as a man to admit that, But I mean, we look at what Michael Bush did last year. Um, Nico Horner's turned on Matt Shaw, like
Mhm.
Dansby Swanson. It's just like say a Suzuki wrecked last year. Like it's hard to say that they're going to be bad. Like I could really see them going on a run. It's like the NL Central is up for grabs. I think that the Brewers run was pretty improbable. You know, they went out there and it was like they were the best team in baseball, and like who could have predicted that? The Cubs were the best team in baseball for almost all the first half, and then the Brewers kind of came out of nowhere and swept it out under their feet. So if the Cubs can stay consistent, then they're gonna be a legit powerhouse in the NL Central. Again, sucks, dude. We're gonna have to watch the Cardinals be bottom feeders and the Cubs go do what they do. It is what it is. Hurts my heart, but I'll admit it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely unfortunate, but I do love what they've got going there. The other international free agent was, Song Sung Moon.
Mhm.
How am I seeing it said 2 different ways? I think that's, like, Japanese culture. They switched
Uh-huh.
the last names or something. Sung Moon Song, Song Sung Moon. I don't know. Maybe I ought to do that. Mathis Charles, Philip Mathis Charles.
Yeah, dude, that could be the move.
But I guess people are saying he's just the next Song Kim.
Yeah,
That's cool. But
hell yeah.
he goes to San Diego. What do you think of that? Have you had much of an opportunity to look at that?
Not necessarily. I do like San Diego as a landing spot for them. They just lost Dylan Cease. You know, they need to go get something. They need to get something going. They had a decent playoff run last year. I mean, they lost eventually, but they have the core there. You got Tatis, you got Machado. It's two dudes who can really rake. They need to prove to their fans almost like, hey, we're still trying to compete for the NL West. I feel like it's hard in that climate. You know, you got the Dodgers who are like basically guaranteed to be the best team in baseball, which sucks. But like it's like who's gonna compete with them? Like, are the Giants gonna do it? Are the Padres gonna do it? I think the Padres could. They really can when they're on their game, but are they going to? And I think that really comes from who, like this offseason, if they're really going to compete and they need to go sign somebody. You lost Cease, who are you going to go out and get to make up for it?
Yeah. And so I'm looking at Moonsong's numbers right now, and immediately I'm just seeing contact.
Hmm.
He put up a 340 batting average in 2024, 2025, 315. He gets on base as well. Let me see what his walk rate is if I can find it. But he put up, he regularly puts up around a 400 OBP.
Yeah.
So, what people say about those Japanese hitters is that, the transition from the NPB to the MLB is that you lose some of your contact. And obviously that
Oh,
was the big question mark about Murakami. This
yeah.
guy's got the contact. I don't know if that means it'll completely go away fully, but, like,
Mhm.
is a guy like Moonsong the kind of guy to get from Japan
Yeah.
because he's already got that contact? I mean, obviously, I think you expect it to go down a little, but a
Mhm.
290 hitter, and it looks like he plays pretty good defense, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. That's a great signing.
One thing that I'm looking at when he was playing in Korea, you know, he walks quite a bit. You know, he's had like
Mhm.
the walk numbers. I think that really contributes to the on base percentage. And honestly, I'm a big believer in on base percentage being one of the most important stats in all of baseball. If you get on base, you
Yeah.
score. And this guy had a 400 OBP 2 seasons ago when he was 27. So I'm hoping that that translates where he can just keep on getting on base. Um, I mean, he had 25 stolen bases in Korea. Guy could looks like he
Yeah.
can run. I mean, again, it's kind of hard for me to really assess him without having. Um, wait, hold on. Did they get him? Oh no, San Diego landed Sung Moon Song on a 4-year, 15 million deal. This is yeah, last week. Oh, there you go. He signed. I guess is that true?
Yeah, and that's oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's
Oh, I thought
confirmed.
we were talking about this
And
guy like he didn't. I thought we were talking about this guy like a prospect to sign. That's my bad.
oh, no, you're good. Yeah, yeah, no, he's signed. So I find this interesting. He didn't start stealing bases until 2024. He had
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stolen bases in his entire career from
Uh-huh.
2015 to 2023, and then maybe once he was considering move to the MLB, like, I'm not really sure the rationale behind it. I guess his coach just said, "Hey, you're always on base. Maybe you should
Yeah,
try and get to second." And
exactly.
so I guess he's got the stolen base numbers, and so
Yeah,
you have to imagine the Padres look at him as a potential leadoff hitter. I doubt
yeah.
they start him in the leadoff spot, but I think that's what you hope for.
Yeah, I mean, especially because I think they're gonna lose Luis Arraez. I think he's asking
Mhm.
for so much out of, like, everyone, and it's like you need that leadoff guy, and I think he could really do it. I like him at that leadoff position, especially looking at, like, who's in their outfield. You have Tatis and Jackson Merrill, obviously, and you have Ramon Laureano, and I think that spot is almost, like, up for grabs, and their designated hitter too, Gavin Sheets. Like, you could almost move Laureano to designated hitter. I feel like he'd work there. It's not like he's a terrible hitter, but I like him in that outfield. He's got from what it seems like he's got the stuff to really contribute, and I like him on the Padres, especially if they don't get Luis Arraez. That would be kind of a not a huge loss, but it's a big
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, and one thing that stands out to me on this Padres team as we wrap up here, and this is my last thought of the day, honestly, is utility. I
Yeah.
see Sungmin Song. The rumors are that they like him in the outfield. He's played all around the infield as well, first, second, and third. He probably doesn't have the range for short, but
Hmm.
like I like that. I think you've got Jake Cronenworth, who I
Yeah.
think can play around the infield. He can play a little first, a little second. I like that this Padres infield, they can kind of do whatever. And I think that opens them up to make one more big signing and or
Yeah.
trade. If mid-season it turns out that, some shortstop, say Francisco Lindor is on the block.
Yeah.
I don't expect that. But it's like you're happy putting Francisco Lindor in short or at short, or you can if it's any second baseman that's on the block. I think it gives you a lot of a lot of space to
Yeah.
sign and or trade for whoever you want and say, "You know what? We can shift this around. It's all right," instead of having a log jam.
Yeah. No, I like this signing. I mean, I've seen the rumors that he could go to the outfield, which again, I like that. But second
Mhm.
base, I like him there. Cronenworth though, do we really see him moving out of that spot? That's where I'm a little iffy. And obviously, I don't think third
Yeah.
base is up for grabs. You got Machado in front of him. Those are two big ones, but first base, that's another one that like you could see him go play there. I mean, he's got the ability, unless they want to move Cronenworth there, because as it stands right now, Cronenworth is listed at the top of the depth chart in first and second base. So honestly, I think Cronenworth at first, then move Song to second. I like that. Honestly, that could work really good for the roster, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's my last thing that I've got for this episode. If there's anywhere else you wanted to go or anything you think we
Yeah,
missed, by all means point
I
it out. But I think we
think
covered all
we
the
got
big
everything.
stuff.
Yeah. Jazz Chisholm Jr. Crash Out. You can go and check that out on Twitter. It's a fun
Oh,
little read. We don't need to touch on it here, but just wanted if anybody's listening and
yeah,
wants to check that out, who knows what the
just
implications
just
are.
highlight that.
Yeah, just y'all can go research yourself because I'm not going to dive into it. I don't even know how to tackle that topic. It's not even baseball.
Yeah, yeah, not necessarily, my cup of tea, but definitely something I'm talking to my dad and my brothers
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
when I'm
That's
watching bowl games.
what. Y'all see what Jazz did? Yeah. So go look at that. That's all we got for today. Thank you
Yeah,
all for joining us. It's been a
yeah,
pleasure.
thanks, everyone.
Yeah. All right. See
We
y'all
should
later.
be back next week. It looks like every Monday is kind of our thing, and
Yep.
we'll let you know if that changes, but expect something. But yeah,
For
thanks,
sure.
guys. See you, Charlie.
Yep. See you later.